Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let's start with the subtitle. Let's do things a little differently, okay? Is this the end of Diesel Glori? Is this the end? Of course the fuck not. Diesel Glori is officially a household name as far as I'm concerned. Let me have my imagination. So she will never die. She's with all of us now. However, let's run through some things real quick and get to the point. We're gonna do this backwards. I'd actually filmed some footage in Minnesota after the show, after the USBF Championships, but y'all, it was so freaking cold and breezy and windy, and I am not an audio engineer. So that footage requires the disclaimer of like, y'all, the wind is terrible, and I don't know how to use graphic equalizers to eliminate that kind of fucking shit. So let me give y'all a little bit of consideration here and let you know about that. So that'll be the second half of this, okay? But yeah, as of right now, we are 6 days out from my last show of the season as far as I'm concerned, because your girl's got to eat and relax for real. For real. For real, real. So we are 6 days out, and I don't actually know what my stage weight was for the USBF Championships, but I simply wasn't cut up enough. And there's something to be said about that. There's something to be said about how, for whatever reason, no matter how cut up you look like before show day, you never quite look as cut up on show day. Fucking sucks. Also makes the sport addictive because you keep wanting to realize the vision on stage and you never quite get there. So it could have to do with the, carb loading and all this other stuff. But I'm like, yo, where are my glute cuts? You know what I'm saying? Where's all the goodness that I've been seeing in the mirror? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of rough. So basically, always come in leaner, always, because you're never going to look as lean as you did at home. I guess it's kind of like powerlifting. Like, you're never going to pull as well on the platform as you do in the comfort of your own gym or whatever it is. I don't know, with your own music bumping and whatever's going on. Point is, didn't come in tight enough. I placed 7th out of 11 women, pro women's bodybuilders. So I'm not complaining. All things considered, that's pretty good. Especially because I was the youngest bodybuilder in the lineup, the least mature muscle. I didn't get to pump up. Everything got a little rushed backstage, and I still needed to get glaze, and they were already calling my number, so I had to choose pump up or glaze. And those of you who've been watching my shit know how I feel about coming in ashy. Never again. It's just not a thing I'm gonna do. So, that's a whole thing. So all things considered, new pro. This is my first pro season. New pro, least mature muscle on stage, didn't get to pump up. 7th out of 11 ladies. I'm not complaining, so there's that. However, it did kind of put in perspective where I am in my career and what I should do and like what are my competitive goals, because you already know about my personal goals and ambitions, but what about my competitive goals? And this is such an expensive hobby, y'all. Such an expensive hobby, more than just money. Time, energy, all of those things. And the strain on your relationships and everything else. So, and you really gotta try and like reinforce your drive in this. You can't be completely motivated by the love of the sport. I mean, you can, I don't know, I don't think you can. I think those wins really help, you know what I mean? Those little successes really help keep you in the game. It's kind of like if you like to, any kind of game that involves like a volley or even a basketball, like once you get it in the hoop that one time, even if, the rest of the time you miss or you hit the rim, whatever, if you get it in the hoop that one time, it just kind of keeps you going for innumerable other attempts. You just feel that thrill. Same thing with this. So it's super important to like bear that in mind and do what you gotta do. Just try to succeed at it at some time. So in any case, looking at the competitive situation, this is where we get to the point about, is this the end of Diesel Glori, which I've already covered as a hell no, of course not. But I'm kind of sentimental, and I really wanted my pro figure debut to be the Florida Pro. next year. Also, Boo Thing might do the show, so it'd be like a couples thing. I lose my whole damn mind. Oh my God. But my physique and where it's at, my placing at the USBF Championships, I don't think I'll be as competitive in women's bodybuilding, no matter how dialed in I come in, right? So I switched my registration to figure. So I will be competing in figure for the GBO Atlas in 6 days. That's it. That's the big announcement, everybody, is I'm competing in figure. So this prep continues to be full of ironies. How many times did I say I was done fucking with heels, everybody? How many times? If you actually can count, I know I've hit celebrity status because I sure shit don't know. So now I'm going to be fucking with heels. Furthermore, my very first upload, I was like, I'm team not a fuck ton of cardio. Why do a fuck ton of cardio? Just slow and steady wins the race. Guess who's been doing a fuck ton of cardio? I'm up to 455 minutes as of today, and I still have cardio to do. Also, who has said, I guess this is better suited for the prep update, that I am not team low carb, just not here for that. Yet I've had to carb cycle for the last round. And then this whole week as a final push to cut up, to get leaner, to hit my target weight, to really be competitive, which is the big goal of the last show, be competitive as a motherfucker. We've been doing really low carb for me, 60 grams of carbs all day, every day, man. Crazy. Fortunately, all my skills with flexible dieting and all that and knowledge of macros has made it a lot more manageable than I ever would have imagined. But goddamn, am I food focused? Oh, Lord. So yeah, for the last 7 days, y'all, I've been eating 60 grams of carbs and figuring out my whole life. And doing all the cardio. So the ironies persist. But it's going to get better. We're going to get on the other side. What else is there to add? Sleep has been good. I've been getting on average 7 hours. Like I really on average 8, but I've had like a day or two where it was 6.5 hours, you know, but on average every night about 8 hours, which is incredible. You kind of got to do that when you're going low calorie, low carb, because you can't afford to be up late, get hungry and shit. And I've already learned what my triggers are is staying up late past my bedtime. Then that's when the cereal will be looking real seductive, real compelling. So, goddamn, bottomless bowl of cereal. Anywho, so been doing all the caca mierda. Sleep has been good. Training this week has been all about cardio and steps. The name of the game is fat loss. I did one full body day just because I was getting a little squirrely, everybody. But no real training to report here, everybody. I do really like the full body days, though. I got to tell you, that's going to be my new thing, my new jam after this. I think I'm going to train like full body 4 days a week. I fucking love that. With like maybe one day I'll add a little extra of something that I love, you know, but I'm really living for the full body and a day off in between, got to tell you. So that's sleep, energy and performance. Energy's been okay, honestly, really surprisingly. Maybe it's the sleep, I don't know. Libido, I just want to get through this season, everybody. I'll keep it at that's just going to be a gray. They'll just call that a gray. Suffering. I think I'm just burnt out, everybody. I'm burnt out. I don't know that I've been suffering, but I'm burnt out. Like I just want to rest. I want less on my plate. You know, I want less to do every single freaking day. I want a little bit more food freedom. Not a whole lot, but like I miss cooking. I want to make pernil. I want to make poke bowls. I want to cook. I want to fucking eat edamame. I want more food variety. I want more food freedom. I'm so ready for both right now. So if that's suffering, honestly, the suffering, all of it has to do with like mentally just being tired of being so restricted, so constrained, you know, tired of spending money. Shit's expensive as hell. and just tired. That's it. So I don't know. Y'all tell me, does that qualify as suffering? Put that in the comments below. Right. That's the prep update, I suppose. As far as weight and everything, this morning was my low weigh-in. It's funny how weight loss happens. I've been doing the cardio, I've been doing the I've been doing the steps, I've been doing the fuck ton of water, drinking all the water ever. And I do fuck with artificial sugars. So I do the little drink mixes and stuff like that when I just need to get more water in, and that's been delicious. And yeah, it's funny how it happens. It'll be just like weight kind of holds and hovers, and then boop, a drop. So this morning was my drop. I've been hovering at 138, and then this morning I dropped to 136, and it shows. But I don't know that I'm gonna include any footage of that, because y'all, we're 6 days out, we're gonna get it popping, and I just wanna get this upload up for y'all. So that's the prep update. The only other thing I can add, because I know, again, I'll be including the footage from Minnesota, and if you have the patience to listen to it with the kind of poor sound quality at times, I just want to add that was fresh. That was the day after the show, and I've been down because of work stuff, you know. I'm still in my probationary period. I've got one last shot to not lose my job, and I think I'm holding it down right now, but it's been a huge source of stress. I can't even. But I just wanted to add that some of the things I mentioned in this chunk, the second section, kind of resolved itself later. I got to spend some quality time with my girl Robin. I love her so much. And she was in the audience for the show, and she assured me of how it actually went down. You know, my perspective as an athlete on stage was different from what was experienced by the audience off stage. And I was so grateful for her for letting me know. So I may or may not include some commentary on that in the middle. I think it makes a little bit more sense than doing it now. But I do just want to point that out, that some of my criticisms or some of my commentary about the show in this next clip are because it was fresh, like literally fresh. I just competed, so I didn't know all the information. In any case, let's get into that. So close, everybody. 6 days. Take care, be well, and I'll catch you on the other side. Howdy from Minnesota. Hey, everybody. So the show has come and gone, and I don't even know where to begin. But I will say this: I've been in such a funk for the last few days that I really wasn't as present as I wanted to be for this. Just a lot of interpersonal stressors, fear of losing my job, a lot of anxiety and like hypervigilance because of those variables. Feeling like I was gonna fuck up somehow unintentionally in other areas of my life, and kind of did. But and by that I don't mean like anything, obviously anything intentional, but just the brain fog is real, and the sense of overwhelm is real, and the divided attention is real, and the demands are real. And so with that comes a certain amount of error. So that's what I mean by fucking up, is that like errors in judgment, errors in documentation, errors in social niceties. And so that is so much to think about, to be like conscious of. So anyway, the stress of all that, plus, you know, traveling and prepping and peak weeking, because peak week, you know, it's like you're tracking everything. You gotta hit your water, you gotta do this, so just a lot of micromanaging, a lot of attention to detail without the capacity to manage detail, just fucking stressful, man. And with that, and maybe even premenstrual, because again, I don't know, I felt hopeless. So really wasn't as excited as I could have been until actual show day. Like leading up to that, there was still that sense of impending doom. And then on show day, we were the first category to go on, and there was kind of I don't want to say mismanagement, but in any case, I didn't get to pump up before going on stage because the tanning was behind and they had to glaze us, and then it's like, come on, line up, but like I wasn't glazed yet, and so it was just like, so unfortunately I did not get to present my physique at its best. Just one of my biggest disappointments from the show is that, placement aside, this wasn't a show that I had any real expectations about placing. I just wanted to come in at my freaking best so far and activate my hammies and do all the things, But I really wanted to see the comparison photos of me like peaked, pumped, and hamstring popping. And unfortunately that did not happen. And the thing about anything competitive is you only get one shot on that day. So that's a freaking shame. And then my routine that I love so much, the music people were so responsive when I submitted my music. They like immediately emailed me back and confirmed received. And then somebody actually texted me, hey, are you starting off stage, on stage, all this stuff? And I was like, starting off stage. And I know I said, don't worry about fading the music out in the end because it's included in there. Like my friend, when he mixed the track, faded it out at the end anyway, because they had mentioned that they would be fading out the tracks. And I was like, don't even worry about that. It's already faded out. But when it came time to do my routine, they tried to fade it in, which really sucks because you can barely hear it. The volume never got loud, at least not from, So I almost missed my cue. So I almost missed my cue to start walking out on stage to the music and everything else. Unfortunately, I had the presence of mind in that moment to be like, I think that's my track. I got to go right now, So I walked out and started it. But that was really disappointing because, like, it's this whole effect, you know what I mean? It's creative vision. Same shit, though. You only get one shot, right? It is what it is. Control what you can control. So I'm grateful that I heard it. I heard the track because the expediter was like, hold on, your music hasn't started. And I was like, no, I hear it. It's just faint, So I just fucking just pushed past and went on. So I'm really grateful for the presence of mind to just do that versus had I walked out when I was asked to and then be at like the corner of the stage with my music. That would have sucked. So this is one of those points where I just wanted to add some insight that I learned after the fact. My friend Robin reassured me that the music was loud enough to the audience. So to me, I was like, oh my God, it's so faint. Like even as I was going through the motions with the routine, I was like, the effect just isn't there. Like you can't hear it. It's so sad. But she reassured me that it was very loud, that the audience heard it and that they were hyped. So that's nice. The people's champ. And then she also shared with me that because our category went on first, my routine stood out in particular as a breath of fresh air. Everybody else's up until that point was very like polished and bodybuilding, just like flex, hard, serious, right? And my routine was the first one that kind of like broke character, and it was fun, and like I danced in my routine. And so apparently that was really well received. And I tell you, I couldn't have seen that. I didn't see that from the audience. And all I heard was how soft the music was. And all I felt was kind of like, meh. So I'm really grateful to hear from her that I did make a splash and that I did serve the community, as it were, by being playful and fun and different and inviting everyone to loosen up. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so it wasn't a very good experience for me in terms of my competitive, showing up competitive and walking away feeling competitive. But there were so many other blessings as far as it being, oh shit, yeah. So there were so many other blessings as far as like, this is the most support I've ever had when competing. Like I officially have, I don't want to say a fan base, but I have a base of people who really support me and were there. They showed up. I mean, just the attention, seeing people face to face. The announcer from the Mr. America, Mike, the one who was like, Diesel Glori. He was the head judge. is the head judge. Straight up called me out in the sidelines. So that was funny. Just like all the connections, the community. The community is huge. That's one major win. Is feeling so supported, so known, like, you know, people, whatever. So that's cool. Diesel Glori is a thing now, like a real thing, not just a thing in my head. So that's pretty great. Freaking Sammy Joe, who did the live stream, shouted out my YouTube channel. So that means she's been watching my YouTubes. Thank you, Sammy Joe. And just the support, man. So that's freaking great. Support in so many other ways as well, like my roommate for the whole thing. She did really well. Congratulations to Heather. I'm sure I'll include footage and stuff here too. But just her support in a lot of key ways, practical ways. The quality time I got to spend with some people. The break from the grind, you know, like after the show, I was reveling in like, I don't have a weight on my chest right now. There's nothing I absolutely have to do. I don't have to track food right now. I don't have to do cardio right now. I don't have to train today. I don't have to do anything. I'm here, I'm not home. I don't have to do dishes. I don't have to do laundry. I don't have to freaking meal prep. I don't have to do anything for the rest of the day. Literally. And that was such an amazing feeling of like lightness. Not something I can exist in because things are always needing to be done. But in this context, it was really nice. It was really nice. Yeah, and I got to have dinner with somebody, with Heather, who's a lot like me in terms of very mindful and intentional while also being dieted down and wanting to eat good food. But it was so nice to actually like really pick what I wanted to eat and like take a bite and taste everything, not feel rushed to eat. I had a bite of a burger, a really good burger, and I got to literally like taste the char, the meat, the blood, the seasonings, the bun with the drippings, the tomato, the red onion. Like I got to taste all of that on my palate without interruption. That was incredibly, arguably sensual. But it's just really nice. Like I like to eat mindfully and I didn't feel rushed or anything. And I didn't feel out of control, which was really nice. I'm up like 5 pounds. But salt, water, all that good stuff. Name of the game will be cardio this week. But there were a lot of really nice experiences there, and I got to be myself the whole time. So that was really nice. Some other things that are pretty cool. I believe that this was the largest natural women's bodybuilding lineup in history. There were 11 pro women's bodybuilders on that stage. And I was one of them. I'm very curious about my placing. So that is actually quite significant because if that's true, if that's the largest lineup in history, that's amazing that I was a part of that. It's amazing. And yeah, we really like to know how I stack, even not pumped up, all that good stuff. I'm very excited for judges' feedback because I feel like with a lineup that big, there's really a lot to say, right? Like, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses, aside from conditioning? The old conditioning. Yeah. So yeah, very curious what their impressions were contrasted with so many other pro women's bodybuilders. So there will be a lot more to be gained from this. But right now, honestly, right now it's more just like a learning curve. Like I had to take a few moments to figure out, okay, what did I, because I was listening to something about women's strength. It had nothing to do with bodybuilding. It was just like a mindset thing. Probably had to do more with like freaking some other sport, like fucking basketball. I don't know. But the author talks about like athlete's mentality or whatever. And there is a certain amount of extreme ownership to the pro. And so like The stage music thing was out of my control, but what was within my control was to listen and just take action. So I'm glad I did that. Pump up, moving forward. I don't care what's going on. I'm going to pump up. I will have a friend with me to glaze me. I'm not going to wait on the tanning people to glaze me. I'm just going to always have a backup at all times, period. Now, like, there's no, you know, there's always this whole, like, oh, I don't want to have to check a bag for this freaking oil. Fuck it. Just do it. Or something, figure something out. Because now I know, as far as like extreme ownership and being a pro, you need to have that shit with you and not rely on the tanning company. It's a shame because, you know, they're a whole part of the package deal. But if it's going to make or break it or cost you your peace of mind, bring your own shit. Ooh. Guys, this cold weather in my freaking eye. Ooh, it's so windy here. Oh, so windy here in Minnesota. Oh, no. Don't you know? Sorry. Can't help it. Actually, one of the Walgreens attendants did that. She was like, oh, you betcha. And I was like, you guys really do that. Amazing. Anyway, whew. Yes, I'm not crying out of sentimentality, y'all. I'm crying because the cold air is hitting my eyeballs. Oh, yeah. So, hold on. Let me just pause this now while I can. And, well, as you know, that actually was all of it. I never got around to recording again because the audio was too creepy bananas. And that sums up everything. So go, go, go. Getting a last few remaining groceries, and I will catch you on the other side of week number 3. Lord help me and get me a vacation. It's not going to happen, but I'm sure anything will feel like a vacation after this. So bear with me, everybody, as I disengage from social media until it's all said and done. I appreciate you. Bye, y'all.